What is going on, guys? It is WrestleGamia here, back with another video. Now it seems that in the internet age, there's no information that we don't have available at our fingertips. You can Google just about anything and get a detailed rundown of everything there is to know about it, so it seems crazy to think that there are any secrets still out there, but that's exactly what we've got for you today. These are 10 things you didn't know about WWE wrestling video games. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more videos like this. Number 1. The Ultimate Lawsuit. Gamers may be surprised to learn that they almost got a chance to play as the Ultimate Warrior in Smackdown Here Comes the Pain. This was back during the period where the Warrior was on the outs with the company while making questionable decisions in his personal life. There's a clip that can be found on YouTube from an early build of the game which shows him as a playable character, but this obviously never happened. It turns out it all came down to a lawsuit filed by the Warrior stating that he had not agreed for his likeness to be used. This didn't just apply to him being used as a playable character in the game, but even stretched as far as having his moveset be available in the Creator Wrestler section, allowing players to make their own version of the WWE Hall of Famer. The Ultimate Warrior had been able to gain the rights to his character's name and likeness previous to this, and as a result, ended up winning the case, robbing us all of the chance to play as him until he would finally return to the series in WWE 2K14 just months before passing away. Number 2. Gotta collect them all. Here's one that may surprise some of you. WWE 12 broke the norm by having 3 different official covers for the game. Which one you got depended not only on which edition of the game you bought, but what part of the world you were in when you bought it. Those who bought the regular edition of the game got one of the coolest looking covers in series history, with cover star Randy Orton, and those who shelled out for the collector's People's Edition were treated to the recently returned Dwayne Johnson as the cover star. Most fans are probably aware of both of these, but what you're unlikely aware of, unless you live in Mexico, was that Sin Cara was actually the cover star for the gamers south of the American border. At the time, WWE were pushing Sin Cara as the next big Latin star, hoping he would fill the shoes of Rey Mysterio, and as such, he was being given the hard sell amongst Mexican fans. Obviously this didn't work out in the long run as Sin Cara became infamous for being a botch machine, but it's interesting to look back at how highly WWE thought of him at the time. Number 3. Missing ladders. Information is a little bit sparse on this one, but it appears that at one point, SmackDown Just Bring It was supposed to feature different size ladders like Jeff Hardy's famous 20-foot ladder he would take more than one dive from. Reports on the beta or beta version of the game suggested that these would be available, however when the final version was released they were mysteriously absent. Why this was excluded from the game was a bit of a mystery to this day, as no official reason has been given. There are even stills out there to show multiple different size ladders in the ring, so clearly it was in the plans at some point. It's a shame WWE fans never got a chance to play with this, as it would have added a whole new dimension of fun to one of the best gimmick matches in the game. Number 4. Austin Aries Bella. This one's equally as funny as it is bizarre. Long before he made his official debut in the 2K series in WWE 2K17, Austin Aries had already appeared in a WWE game, though you would have never known it. The former Cruiserweight champion has provided motion capture and voice acting for multiple WWE games, but we're going to focus on him providing motion capture for the Bella Twins in SmackDown vs. Raw 2010. Yep, you heard that right. His work can be seen in a cutscene from Rey Mysterio's Road to WrestleMania storyline. According to the Internet Movie Database entry for the game, Aries also did motion capture for Kelly Kelly, which leaves us with the question, why exactly? Were there no women available? The idea of Austin Aries in a motion capture suit trying to act sexy is admittedly hilarious. The same game would also feature Colt Cabana doing motion capture for Triple H and Cesaro doing the honors for Jack Swagger. Strange to think what stars of tomorrow could be doing this now. Perhaps even Keith Lee filling in for Becky Lynch. Number 5. Mr. Peanut Butter training the boys. Fans of the brilliant Netflix series BoJack Horseman will recognize Paul F. Tompkins, the voice of BoJack's rival Mr. Peanut Butter. What they may be surprised by is that if they follow the WWE Games series, then they will have heard him years before the show hit the airwaves, as he provided the voice of the trainer during the Road to WrestleMania mode in SmackDown vs. Raw 2011. Now this shouldn't come up as too much of a surprise, as Tompkins is a working voice actor, so hearing him pop up from time to time should be expected, but it's a nice little Easter egg and crossover point for fans of both franchises all the same. Number 6. Well, it's a big punishment. WWE fans were likely upset as they weren't able to play as the Big Show upon the release of WWF No Mercy for N64 in 2000, but it turns out there was a very good reason for this, as the Big Show was being punished. This was around about the time the WWE had tried to embarrass the Giant into sorting out his weight issues by sending him back down to OVW, the developmental brand for the WWE back at the time and precursor in many ways to NXT. His punishment also included being removed from the game, no doubt costing him some money. Big Show was clearly planned to be part of the game at some point, as skilled fans have been able to use GameShark to find his unused face model buried in the game's code. Big Show would return to the series in future installments and would even find himself with the WWF title back around his waist only a few years later, so it all worked out for him in the end. His punishment also included being excluded from SmackDown 2 Know Your Role, but funnily enough, he can actually be seen in the Royal Rumble at times, even though he's not a playable character. Number 7. Developers couldn't make Triple H look weak in a game. Now, Triple H has gained a reputation as a master politician over the years, working his way to taking Vinnie Mac's spot in the near future. What some fans may not be aware of is that the WWE gave strict instructions to developers of SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, which banned them from showing the game in any position of weakness in the promotional material. This was confirmed by multiple reviewers who lambasted the company for allowing such a petty thing to be allowed, with Fighting Spirit magazine saying, "We're not allowed to take any screenshots of Triple H losing, any screenshots of Triple H in a defenseless or vulnerable position." It goes a long way to show how thin-skinned the COO is, even when it comes to video games. Number 8. Keep on Rollin. Longtime fans of the WWE Games series will be aware that Limp Bizkit frontman Fred Durst featured as a playable character in both SmackDown Just Bring It and the Xbox and PC game WWF Raw. This was during the time that WWE were using the band's song Rollin' as entrance music for The Undertaker. What fans may not know is that these entries in the game served as payment for Fred Durst, who forewent any financial incentive or future royalties for the song being used. Instead, all that he asked was that he's being included as a playable character in the next games in the franchise, which WWE and developer Ukes were only happy to oblige. This no doubt saved them an absolute fortune and allowed Durst to live out his fantasies as a WWE superstar. He even had his own custom entrance, which saw him come down in the aisle in his own personal lowrider. Well, in the Raw game he comes out in a motorcycle, just like The Undertaker. Number 9. Not just WWE Exclusive. Rob Van Dam, Roddy Piper and Hulk Hogan are obviously no strangers to the WWE game franchise, given their legendary status within the company, but it may be news to some that this isn't the only series the three have appeared in. Each of the superstars in question have done voice work for the Saints Row games, with RVD providing the voice of Bobby in the 3rd and 4th installments, Hulk Hogan voicing Angel de la Muerte in the 3rd game, and Piper appearing as himself in Saints Row 4 in a nod to his classic performance in They Live. The latter one should have been obvious to anyone playing, but the first two will no doubt come as a surprise to many. Go back and check it out if you can. And number 10, what Vince really thinks of the Hardy Boys. It's known by many wrestling fans that before Matt and Jeff made it big in the WWE, they worked primarily as enhancement talent, appearing notably as the Jesters and Doormen at the 1996 King of the Ring pay-per-view, and providing motion capture for WWF Warzone in 1998. There is an interview with Vince McMahon from the time of this game's release, where he discusses different aspects of the game and its development. When asked about whether wrestlers did their own motion captures, Vince responded by saying, "We had 3 or 4 guys. We called them jobbers. These are guys that want to be, well, they are professional wrestlers, but they are low on the totem pole." Now it's not hard to see the insult in this statement, and it couldn't have made the Hardys happy to read that this is what their boss thought of them. It's ironic though, considering they were going to become one of the greatest tag teams in WWE history. But there you have it guys, 10 things you didn't know about WWE wrestling video games. Shall we make a part 2, as there's plenty more? Let us know in the comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling video game content.